All right, everybody. Well, welcome to our Tuesday conference call with Uprint and Red Earth. Matt Ham here. I am coming to you guys remote today. We have all of our kids out of school, as I'm sure some of you do. We have 4 school-age kids, so we're kind of navigating these days, much like you guys are, I'm sure. It's not short on challenges, but I believe these days and these times present us a great opportunity. And so today, I have titled today's call, Navigating the Unexpected and Overcoming Obstacles. Navigating the Unexpected and Overcoming Obstacles. If you guys would, feel free to put anything in the chat if you have any questions or ideas that you want to dive into. But I want to talk about this. Now, today is kind of fortuitous for us. It is St. Patrick's Day. Now, that is a day when most of us would be kind of gathering possibly with some friends or going to a parade, or maybe going to a pub and having a pint. But because our, it seems, entire world is on shutdown in some capacity now due to coronavirus, we're going to have to enjoy St. Patrick's Day a little bit differently, possibly. So this morning I got up and I was just thinking about St. Patrick, and I had never done a lot of research on who this guy was, but it was really profound as it relates to this idea of navigating the unexpected and overcoming obstacles. So a tribute to St. Patrick on St. Patrick's Day as we dive into this. So St. Patrick was actually not of Irish descent. He was born in the UK, in Great Britain, which I found the United Kingdom, which I found to be very, very interesting. But here's what happened. When he was 16 years old, he was actually captured and enslaved by Irish pirates. So here this 16-year-old boy is going on with his life, in 400 and whatever it was AD, and he is captured by these Irish pirates. And for 6 years, he spent 6 years of his life in captivity because of these Irish pirates. And later he escaped and he returned home to his country of Great Britain, or the UK as it would have been, and he adopted Christianity at that time. But it's interesting. During captivity is where he began to have his own spiritual awakening. And he actually credits the work that he would later do in his life to his period of captivity, when he was literally enslaved by these pirates from the ages of 16 until the ages of 22. Now, he grew up, like I said, in Great Britain, but spirituality and faith and things hadn't made much impact to him until he was forced in his season of captivity to rely on something greater than himself. And you see this similar kind of expression with folks who experience the tragedies of war or the Holocaust. One of the greatest books you could ever possibly read on mindset and how we begin to navigate difficult circumstances is Viktor Frankel's Man's Search for Meaning. Frankel was a doctor during World War II, and I believe he was Austrian, and he was imprisoned in Auschwitz, a concentration camp. And he reflected on life during that season and what he learned. And, he has a profound quote that says that life can and will take everything from you but your capacity for hope and faith and belief and how you choose to approach situations and circumstances. And so these are drastic situations, For us, we're forced into some social distancing. We might see some of our businesses affected in a moment. But we're talking about people who are being enslaved and captive, and they teach us about this concept of our mindset during these seemingly unexpected events and obstacles that we face. And so what was beautiful to me about St. Patrick is once St. Patrick freed himself from captivity, he went back to Great Britain or UK, he decided to go back to Ireland, to the very place that captured him, and become a missionary. And he began walking throughout the countryside of Ireland, bringing hope and encouragement through his vehicle of faith to the Irish people. And he became the patron saint of Ireland. And now you have a day, of course, that has been dedicated to him in a lot of the church world, but now it's a just popular culture event. So this man changed the history of the world. He had an impact that was greater than himself because he chose to utilize the time that he was spending in captivity to press into something greater than himself. And not only that, once he was freed, he went back in as a way to bring that hope and encouragement to others. And so I want to press into this idea because I think it is a very powerful opportunity for us. In fact, I would say right now, we are in one of the most opportunistic times in our lives because we can be those people who bear encouragement and who bring hope and bring joy in the midst of a world that seems to be without it. And I am so convinced of this that the past week for me has been a really challenging week because I have been thinking and praying and really resting in this truth so much that now is an opportunity. The world might see it as famine, but I believe that this is an opportunity for us to be especially joyful, hopeful, encouraging to those that we are around. Now, that's not easy to say or do. So I have really narrowed this down to 4 things that I want to walk through with you guys today that I have been utilizing and I will continue to utilize as we navigate this together. So one is the opportunity that we have to pause and center. Anytime you're met with an obstacle or an unexpected situation, one of the greatest things I believe we can do is just to pause. It's just to take a moment and pause because we are constantly waging a war against all that we see, all that we experience, and it's trying, as I've said before, to get into our heart and keep us distracted. But we have an opportunity in times like these to pause and to assess the situation from a deeper perspective, from a place of centeredness. And that is something that many of us may be forced to do in the coming days when you start talking about social distancing and ideas of quarantine and so forth. And if you've been on any type of social media, you've seen a lot of the byproducts of folks in other parts of the country and other parts of the world who have been quarantined and the awakening that they might have had about, slowing down and spending time with their family or actually reading a book or praying or journaling or, whatever it is. I saw something the other day that William Shakespeare, wrote the play King Lear when he was in quarantine during the plague, back in his time. And so a lot of people are using that as kind of this motivation fuel to say, look at this from a different perspective, pause, stay centered. Now, I think a secondary piece to this point here is times like these allow us to appreciate what we have previously taken for granted. Now, as you reflect on kind of where you are and what your thoughts are and how you're experiencing these things, I realize, man, there are many things that I've taken for granted. When you start to look at, for us this week, one of our live gatherings was actually closed down. One of the favorite things that I get to do every month is go and gather with a group of people and speak and teach and do the thing that I've been called to do. And this month, it was we decided to close it down based on recommendations from the government here in North Carolina, limiting or restricting group gatherings of 10 or more people. So all of that being said, it has given me a chance to truly appreciate what I have previously taken for granted and just to pause and not let these things into my heart. So the first thing I think we can do when we're navigating an unexpected situation, circumstance, is we can pause and we can recenter ourselves and begin to look at maybe things we've taken for granted, right? And understand a deeper level of what's going on and opportunities that exist instead of constantly giving into the fear and the cultural influences of what's happening around us. The second thing I think we can do after we've paused, that is begin to shift our focus. One of the things right now that you all and I am faced with is what we focus on. And I think that this is probably the most powerful thing that that we can really get a hold of and let in. I was thinking about it this way. Right now, they have all these maps in the U.S. and in the world of how many cases of coronavirus are going on, and we focus on these things. We hyper-focus on these things. We're looking at the map. Okay, where is it? What are people saying? Think of it this way. Think if there was a map that notified you every time someone was diagnosed with cancer. Think if there was a map that notified you every time someone lost a child. Think if there was a map that notified you every time there was an automobile accident, right? If you focused on these things constantly, it would completely overwhelm your senses because whatever you focus on gets your attention, and whatever gets your attention begins to get your affection. Now, I'm not saying that we shouldn't be aware of what's going on around us, but hyper focusing on a map that is letting us know when cases pop up is the same thing of like, looking at diagnosis, cancer diagnoses or whatever, we have to shift our focus. It doesn't negate the reality that we're in, but we have an opportunity to shift our focus and to choose what it is that we are going to focus on. There's a beautiful passage in Scripture that I love during times like these, and it says, as a man or woman thinketh in their heart, so are they. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Whatever you think in your heart, meaning whatever you think and allow into your heart is what you become. So if you focus on fear and panic and paranoia and stress and anxiety and worry, it goes into your heart, then you become fearful, stressed, worrisome, and anxious. There is an active battle that we have to fight now to shift our focus. And here's how we can do that. I think we can do that in two ways. One is, what are you speaking out of your mouth? This is a really powerful concept. What are you allowing yourself to speak out of your mouth? We say it like this: unless you are willing to engrave it on a plaque and put it on the wall of your home, do not speak it out of your mouth. Okay? What I mean by that, going a little bit deeper, is be aware of what's coming out of your mouth. We use casual phrases like, oh man, this is killing me, or I'm dying, or even focusing on, I wonder if it's going to get here, or we're probably going to XYZ. When you say all of these things out of your mouth, you're actually prophesying that they are out there in the world, and it's actually drawing it back to you. Okay. Now, that might be a little bit big, high-minded. I'm not trying to be high-minded, but what I'm saying is would you rather have life written on a plaque on your wall or death? Would you rather, instead of saying, oh, this is killing me, would you rather walk into your home and see a sign that says, this is killing me? Or would you rather see a sign that says, I will overcome? Or this too shall pass. That was one of my grandma's favorite sayings. This too shall pass. I love it. Even when she was diagnosed with cancer on her deathbed, she just always said, this too shall pass. So my challenge to us today is begin to shift your focus by, number one, watch what comes out of your mouth. If you don't want that to be placarded on the wall of your home, then don't say it. But by the same token, if there is something that you would want placarded on the wall of your home, then speak that over your life. An encouragement now is to speak health. In fact, I would look at you guys and speak health and life and prosperity and blessing and peace and wisdom and encouragement during these times. I want you to know that peace and encouragement and blessing and health and hope are yours. And I want to speak those out over you right now, and I stand with you in agreement that they are yours. So shift your focus by focusing on what comes out of your mouth. And then the second part of shifting your focus is literally where you spend your time. You can wake up every day and you can turn on the news and you can watch this and you can get bogged down in it, or you can do something different. I would encourage you to spend your time and energy somewhere else. And I would say go for a walk outside. Use this as an opportunity to engage in journaling. Use this as an opportunity to spend some time doing that thing that you've always wanted to do. If you have some extra time on your hands, whatever that might be, if it's baking, if it's cooking, if you want to learn to play the piano, look at this as an opportunity given to you as a chance to step into the desires of your heart. What's really in your heart? What's really in your heart? So many of us are so busy with all the different things as a way to kind of stay afloat, to tread water, when we realize we could just lay on our back and float and do some things that we have always wanted to do. So my challenge would be, do something during this season that is a specific desire of your heart that you would love to step into. The third thing, this is a reflective piece, okay? So as you pause and center and shift your focus, ask yourself these three questions. One, what can I learn? Two, how can I grow? And three, what can I do? What can I learn? How can I grow? And what can I do? Those are three phenomenal questions that we can ask ourselves and step into during a season like this. What can I learn? How can I grow? And what can I do? You see, the adverse of these three questions, right, are what we tend to focus on. It's not about what I'm learning. It's about what someone's trying to tell me. It's not about what I'm seeing and experiencing. It's about what someone is telling me, you know. And instead of letting someone tell you something, you know, what can I learn through this? You engage in it instead of just them dumping information on you. Number two, how can I grow? A lot of folks are not looking at growth during this time. They're looking at hunker down, right? I ain't about growing. It's about hoarding up for myself and self-preservation instead of being about growth. Let these situations, difficulties, prune the branches off that are dying and dead so that you can bear new fruit and bear new life. And then lastly, what can I do? You know, everything that we see surrounding us right now is about what we can't do. Everything we see around us right now is things that we can't control. We cannot control how the government responds. We cannot control largely what happens in the economy. What we can control are ourselves. We can control our mind. We can control how we respond. We can control what we speak. We can control that we wash our hands. We can control that we don't, you know, touch our face, which is a bad habit of mine. I'm always touching my face. But we can control these things. We have to work on them. So these are the things. What can I do? Not what I'm not in control of, what I can't do, but what can we do? That begins to create a sense of responsibility and encouragement so we can step in. And then the last thing that I would say, and on those three, before I leave that, write them down. What am I learning? How can I grow? What can I do? Write that down every day. Spend just 5 minutes. What can I learn today? Or what am I learning today? How can I grow? And then what can I do? Write them down. Step into them. And then the last thing, the fourth point here is others. In times like these, we have to turn our attention to other people. You know, I am overwhelmed by the response in culture with hoarding up hand sanitizer and toilet paper and food and all this kind of stuff. What it does is it reveals the condition of the heart. When you're in a situation where it's chaotic around you, people go into self-preservation mode. And self-preservation mode ultimately ends in death because you can't stop that. And so when you have no fear, when you have freedom, when you're living from a place of peace, you can use this as an opportunity to bless and pour back into others. And so we look at it like this, that it is a mighty blow to the enemy that is oppressing you in your own life, through your own pain, through your own unexpected situations and obstacles. It's a mighty blow to that enemy when you turn the challenges of your circumstance to helping someone else through theirs. It is a mighty blow to the enemy when you turn the pain of your own circumstances toward helping someone else through theirs. This is radically powerful. When you feel like you might not have enough toilet paper, give some to your neighbor. When you feel like you might be, call somebody up and encourage them. It takes the focus off of us, and it begins to genuinely put it on others from a place of generosity and encouragement. And when you do that, it removes the power that circumstances have over you. You see, the opposite of this is letting the circumstances bury you and come into self-preservation mode instead of rising above those circumstances and using it as an opportunity to encourage somebody else. Turn the pain of the moment into helping someone else through theirs. It takes your eyes off of yourself, it takes your eyes off of your circumstances, and it actually paves the way, in my belief and experience, for supernatural things to happen that are beyond your capacity to understand. It's that idea is I'm going to sow a seed right here into this person's life instead of just looking at the fact that, I only have a seed left. I'm going to take one seed and I'm going to sow it in the ground. And guess what? That seed's going to become a tree that bears much fruit and gives me more seeds. And then that tree becomes an orchard and so on and so forth. The power that you have is the power of the seed that you carry, and that is the opportunity to use it and plant it and bless somebody else with it. So again, guys, today on St. Patrick's Day, we look back and go, man, that man was purified, was brought forth, was awakened in his 6 years of captivity. He turned the pain of his own experience into turning around and blessing others. And what he did is he changed the world in the process. He changed the world in the process. And so today, let us use that as a testimony and an encouragement for us to pause and center ourselves, to begin to shift our focus, to ask ourselves, what am I learning? How can I grow? And what can I do? And then finally, to focus on pouring out into the lives of others. And that, my friends, will create a legacy that no virus can stop, that no human institution can grow beyond. And so that's my encouragement to you guys today. That being said, I am going to open this up. If you guys have any questions or thoughts, y'all feel free. All right. Anybody on still care to jump in on anything? All right, Julianne, thank you. Hey, Kim. Ab- Absolutely. I hope you guys were able to hear me okay and that it all worked. Again, forgive the challenges of delay, but certainly appreciate you. Jen, what's happening? Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Y'all feel free to text me if there's anything that y'all need, in the coming days, or if there's anything I can walk through with you guys. Don't hesitate to reach out. I'm always happy to do that. I am still available. Everything we do is digital anyway, so there's nothing can stop us but lifting you all up, and hope that you know that I'm here for you if you need anything. Absolutely, Tracy, Jen. Thank you guys. Y'all have a great day. Okay.